that does not believe that you have seen small and large miracles begin to appear everywhere. That's divine providence. Rely on it. He didn't set this country up. We're not over. He's not done with man's freedom. He's not like, you know what, that whole freedom thing, I changed my mind on that. He needs man to be free. If we don't do it, he will let us destroy ourselves. He's not going to destroy us. We will destroy ourselves. And then he'll find somebody else, a Moses that is standing by a mountain going, what the hell is going on with that bush? And then he'll go up and he'll hear God say, pick up your stick. And then if he's anything like Moses, he'll say, wait. You can make a bush go on fire but not burn down. You're the Almighty, the most powerful. And I gotta go tell who what with a stick? Yeah. Because that creates firm reliance. And we mutually pledge to each other our lives. What does that mean? Does that mean that we have to risk our life? Well, our military does. I hope we don't, but our military does. But it might. Alveda King was terrified to walk on that stage. Terrified. Behind stage, I have this great picture of the two of us. I walked out, and she was up next, and we were in this little tent area backstage, and she was standing in the tent like this. I said, Alveda, are you ready to go out? She said, they killed my uncle for what he said. My father was killed because of what he said. She said, my daughter said to me, Mama, they killed Uncle Martin and Grandpa. When you finish, please, just come home. That is a brave woman. She said to me, will you pray with me? As she's being introduced, we're standing arm in arm praying. And we finished, and I said, you're going to be great. You will do great honor to your family legacy. And I started to walk away, and she said, Glenn Beck? I said, yes, Miss King. She said, let me tell you something. The next time you say to me, you got an idea, and it's going to be huge, and you're going to see miracles, I'm going to believe you. People gave their life, but it also means that you don't necessarily get to do what you want to do. George Washington, my favorite story of George Washington, he's such an honorable man. I love this guy. George Washington, at the end of the American Revolution, he was a miracle to most Americans. Remember, he's a big 6-foot-something guy sitting on a giant white horse, with red, white, and blue. Basically, when he's on the battlefield, it's just like, shoot me here. And he would ride his horse out in the middle of the battlefield, and he was never shot, never wounded. He would come off the field, he'd be like, yeah, we gotta go over there. And they would shoot a hole through his coat. It was a miracle. The guys that fought in the American Revolution thought he was divine providence. At the end, they had defeated the greatest military force on the earth, and Congress didn't want to pay them. Not a lot has changed. And they were about to dishonor themselves, destroy themselves, and destroy the republic, because they were about to do the worst thing they could possibly imagine. They were setting off to set things right with guns in Congress. And George Washington said to them, "Don't you do it. We did not fight this hard for that." And they placated him, and he got on to that big white steed, and he rode to Philadelphia, and he begged Congress, "You've got to pay these men. They have pulled off a miracle. Pay them." Only one congressman would say he would fight to his last breath, and he wrote it out in a letter. He asked the general to please read it to the troops. He put it in his pocket, he got back onto his horse, and he rode back. The men had sequestered themselves in a small room, and Washington knew exactly what they were up to. And he walked in, and the room felt quiet. And he said, "Gentlemen, we did not overthrow one tyrant to replace him with another. This is not what we fought for." There was rumblings and grumblings. And Washington said, "I just got back from Philadelphia. I want to read a letter to you." And he pulled out a letter out of his pocket, but he couldn't read it. He had to reach into his pocket and get his glasses. The men had never seen this great man in glasses. He was invincible. They had never seen him with any kind of weakness. And he knew it as he put his glasses on. He could feel the room change. He said, "I'm sorry. I apologize. For my eyes have grown weak, I have grown tired, and I have grown gray in the service of my country." He paused, took his glasses back off, without reading the letter, folded it back up and put it in his pocket, and walked out. You know what they didn't do because of that moment. They saw a great man humbled. What they didn't do was dishonor themselves. But do you know that when the revolution was over, very few of his men stood with him when they were signing the treaties and it was officially over? A lot of his men were still angry at him. He went home without all of the love of his troops that he had fought so hard for. And he went back to his farm, which is all he ever wanted to do, was be a farmer at Mount Vernon. And then things started to fall apart. They needed to have a constitution and a constitutional convention. And both sides, nobody would listen to each other. They were arguing, "It's my side. No, you're wrong. You've destroyed it. It's my side." Nobody would listen. And so finally, the group of them got together and they rode down to Virginia. And then they knocked on the door of Mount Vernon. And there was George Washington, and he opened up the door. And they said, "General, the country is in trouble. It will not last. It will not stand. And we can't get anybody to listen to each other. You are the indispensable man. You are the only one that can bring both sides together just by standing there. People will be forced to talk to each other civilly." That's what kind of honor this man had. And you know what his response was? "Have I not yet done enough for my country?" And he closed the door. In my mind's eye, I see Washington close that door and take a couple of steps into the room. And then call to Martha. "Martha, I got to go to Philadelphia." And he did. We mutually pledged to each other our lives.